Hi all and welcome to another beginner-friendly guide for Palia. If you're relatively new to Palia, you might already have come across these purple glowing trees, even if you didn't necessarily know what they are or how to harvest them. These trees are a somewhat rare and special resource in Palia, and we'll talk about that and much more in our guide. Feel free to use the timestamps to jump to the chapters that are relevant for you. Why the glow? Well, flow is a sort of magical energy in Palia that can infuse items or beings, and in case of trees, it's that purple glow that gives it away. Flow-infused trees, let's call them flow trees for simplicity, have a chance to spawn instead of regular trees, both in Kilima and Bahari Bay. Their appearance is relatively rare, and therefore flow-infused wood is a sought-after resource. What you need them for? Using a sawmill, you can turn flow wood into flow planks. These planks are in turn not only used to upgrade your tools to the highest level, but as well for multiple furniture ranges, items and some quests. Back to the trees. There's another reason why flow trees are special, and that's because they usually require more than one player to chop down. The reason for that is that if you hit a flow tree with your axe, then unlike regular trees, you can see it almost instantly regenerating. But if more players hit the tree simultaneously, they can counter the tree's regeneration. Now let's talk about flow tree sizes and axe upgrades. As mentioned before, any choppable tree of any type, be it in Kilima or Bahari Bay, has a chance to respawn as a flow tree. So there are the really tiny ones, small trees, medium trees, and large trees. Having chopped more than a few, these are the quantities of flow-infused wood we often see them dropping. The axe requirements for chopping them are the same as for normal trees. A makeshift axe can chop tiny and small trees. A standard axe can also chop medium trees. A fine axe can chop larger trees. And finally, the currently best upgrade, the exquisite axe can chop all of the aforementioned trees with less hits. However, since flow trees regenerate health while being hit, it generally takes more than one player to chop most flow trees, at least the medium and large ones. The good news is, as with other shared resources in Palia, like for example ore, you don't need to be in an actual group in order to chop and loot these trees together. As long as you hit the tree once with the right axe, you and any other players who hit the tree will receive the same loot. If you have the best axe upgrades, you can chop tiny and small trees by yourself, but even an exquisite axe struggles with medium trees, and large trees always require more people. But why is that, you might ask? Well, flow trees are intended to be a shared resource that encourages people to play together. And that's another aspect we'd like to touch base on. The unwritten etiquette when it comes to flow trees. Since flow-infused wood is harder to get and requires some effort, the polite thing to do is to call out flow trees in general chat when finding one. For example, by saying, "Medium flow tree north of Statue Garden." Most of the time, people will respond in chat with "on my way" or similar. And one would wait for everyone who responded to turn up before chopping the flow tree. While you wait, make sure to hit the tree at least once. That will ensure you'll get loot from it even if someone else does the last hit. If there is one or more trees and several people are arriving, it's common for everyone to go around and do one hit on every tree. When everyone had their turn, the trees can be chopped and everyone receives loot. Be careful with small trees when you have an exquisite axe. They usually don't withstand two players hitting at once, so let the tree recover in between hits. Tiny trees will be chopped immediately with the best axe, but that's usually not a problem as it's unavoidable. On the topic of calling out a flow tree, flare arrows can be a great additional tool to mark a location, as they can be seen by others from far away. You can purchase the recipe for flare arrows from Hassian's Hunting Guild store for 500 gold at hunting level 4. The special arrows can be crafted at the workbench and are equipped just like regular arrows. Should the flow tree you find be a single tiny or a small tree, it's totally okay to not call them out and chop them yourself if you can. And if it's not a one-hit tree for you, then it's always nice to chop once and have a quick look around to check if anyone else is on their way to you. Since it's a shared resource, you won't be losing out on anything, everyone gets the same loot. Before we move on to a special flow tree event that occurs in-game, let's first talk about how you can best farm flow trees and flow tree groups. Finding flow trees and gathering enough flow-infused wood can take quite some time, but there are ways to speed things up. Since every regular tree that gets chopped has a chance to respawn as flow tree, a good strategy would be to start chopping trees in a designated area. This can be done alone, but it's faster together with others, as you can chop down more trees, can keep an eye on a larger area, and alert each other of flow tree respawns. Groups of players chopping trees with the purpose of spawning flow trees are often referred to as flow tree groups. You can join groups spontaneously through the general chat in-game, and many players also use the official Palia Discord to organize them. For example, you and some others decide to chop trees around thorny Etiquette in Bahari Bay. You spread out and chop trees repeatedly until some spawn as flow trees. Most of the time, groups focus on medium to large trees as they give more wood on average. Due to the random spawn chance, it can take anywhere from a few minutes to a lot longer for flow trees to appear. Sometimes it can require a bit of patience. Once some flow trees spawn, you chop them together with the group and rinse repeat. Since the group invests a certain amount of time and effort in trying to spawn trees, be prepared for them to chop flow trees without calling them out. It's understandable why a group wouldn't wait around, but as with single trees, if you see others which don't belong to your group in your area, give them at least a chance to get a hit in. It's just the right thing to do. In any case, there is no fixed rule for calling out flow trees, but it's more of an unwritten etiquette most players follow. It often depends on tree sizes, time a player has, and how long they are prepared to wait. It is nice if you can wait and help others, and if you can't, keep at least an eye on your surroundings and look out for anyone nearby who might want to chop the tree as well. Now, with that said, there is one special flow tree event that's definitely intended to be done with more players from the server, and that's flow tree groves. Flow tree groves are an event that's unique to Bahari Bay, at least for now. Once per in-game day, at midnight, several flow trees spawn at a random location in Bahari Bay. This grove can be anything from around 4 to 9 flow trees in average, with trees of various sizes. When the event happens, you can hear a mystical sound that can give you an indication of how close or far away the grove is. And the sound is also directional. Turning up the volume or using a headset can help. The range of the sound is roughly half the map, so if you are far north, you won't hear a grove spawning further down south. Additionally, a grove is surrounded by a pink swirling glow that can be spotted from a bit further away. When you or others find the grove, it's common courtesy to call out the grove's location in general chat to give players on the server a chance to arrive and join the big chopping event. As with other flow trees, make sure to hit each tree once and let everyone have their turn. And of course, firing up flare arrows helps others find the location more easily. Since more people than usual might arrive for a grove, it can help to sit down or group up once you have hit each tree. It simply makes it easier to see when the group is ready. While rare in our experience so far, up to 2 flow tree groves can exist at once per map. If one grove hasn't been found and chopped the first time it appeared, it's possible for a second one to spawn when it's midnight again the next day. Groves can appear in the south and north of Bahari Bay, and frequent locations can be seen here. Flow tree groves are a great opportunity for everyone to get a larger stack of flow-infused wood, and since it's scheduled to happen around midnight in game time, you don't need to spend too much time hunting for trees the normal way. Just keep your ears open and your eyes on chat. There are also some secrets when it comes to flow trees and groves. When regular Mujin creatures that can be found all over Bahari Bay jump into a flow tree in order to hide, they will turn into the magic blue bristle Mujin. Chop that flow tree and you'll be able to hunt it. And lastly, when a flow grove appears, there's a chance for a rare or magic creature to spawn within it, even those that can usually not be found in that location or during that time of day. For example, we spotted azure chappas in groves on the north side of the map, and jewel-winged dragonflies inside a flooded fortress. And that's all for this guide. We hope you found it helpful and maybe learned a few new interesting facts and details. If you enjoy our content, please don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up and leave a comment.